Hello, and this is the first official episode of Cook with Kavya. And before we get started on the mulligatawny soup, I thought it would be fun to just dive into the history a little bit. It's got a very interesting history, almost inextricably linked to the rise and the fall of the British Empire. So when the British came to India, they figured they wanted a soup. And Indians are not big on soup. I don't think we ever have been. And the closest we had was the rasam. So the Indian cooks, they took this rasam, they modified it a little bit. I suppose they added a little bit of flour, a little bit of butter. At least that's what the records say. And then they were able to concoct a fairly tasty soup of sorts. And this soup was later called the mulligatawny. And even the name itself is derived from molaga or melaga, which is chili or pepper in Tamil, and tani, which is water. So it literally means pepper water or chili water. And eventually this soup became really popular amongst the British officers. They took it back home, they took it with them on their ships. It was widely made in army camps. And eventually, I suppose the soup lost its charm once the Suez Canal opened. This was around 1869. So once that opened and more the wives of the officers started coming to India, they started looking down on these preparations that were made by the Indian cooks. And then they started replacing these soups with their own soups, their own roasts, their own pies. So fast forward 200 years and the recipes today have apples, they have celery, they have leeks and potato and lentils all blended together. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go back to a cookbook that was written in 1878 by Arthur Herbert Kenny. I think that's his name at least. Okay, it's written by Arthur Kenny Herbert. He has a recipe for a clear mulligatawny as well as a thick one. And we're going to kind of take the best of both and make the soup like it was 200 years ago. And post that, I'm going to show you the really easy shortcut way to do it. If anyone is interested in having a look at that recipe book, I've attached the link below. It's quite fascinating to see the pompous and patronizing manner in which it's written, but at the same time it gives us an interesting sneak peek into the context at the time and how it was made. And without such books, we would probably not ever know what the soup tasted like 200 years ago. Right, so enough of this history nonsense. We're just going to get straight to the soup. And yeah, I think it should be fun. Let's just see what we come up with. So I'm first going to start with a little bit of water. Just warm it enough to soak the almonds. And once that's done, just pour it over. Now let this soak for at least 10 minutes before you blend it and strain it. Now I'm going to get onto the stock. So 2 to 3 cups of water should do. And then in a little pouch like this, I'm going to add all the spices that need to be infused into the stock. If you don't have this, you can just put it directly and later on strain it. Or you could use a muslin cloth. Now stock is your liquid gold. It's what separates a good soup from a bad soup. So it's very important to get your stock flavorful. I'm going to use a stock cube. If you don't have a stock cube, you could use trimmings of onions, trimmings of carrot, and just allow that to simmer for around half an hour. Now, meanwhile, I'm going to get started with the remaining prep, which isn't much. So just slice an onion quite fine, but not so fine that it burns easily. And once this is done, I'm just going to move on to blending my almond milk. Okay, so the stock's done, my almond milk's done. I'm now going to put a dollop, maybe it's about 2 tablespoons of butter into a pan, and the onions. Now what you want to do is caramelize these onions. If you add a little bit of salt now, it really helps draw out the moisture and the flavor from the onions, so it cooks faster and you get tastier fried onions. So this is going to take about 10 minutes or so, maybe less, on an induction. And in the meantime, you could get the remaining ingredients ready. Okay, so in this cup, what I'm doing is I'm making the thickening agent. And this is basically 2 tablespoons of raw flour and 2 tablespoons of butter. That is just mashed together. So a beurre mani is basically an uncooked mixture of fat and flour. You don't have to use butter, you can use oil as well. Okay, so my onions are done. Just going to take these out. Leave some of the butter in the pan. We'll need this. Now to that same butter, I'm just going to put a generous tablespoon or 2 of curry powder. You could use Madras curry powder. This is Bolt's curry powder that I'm using. And once the powder kind of cooks out, I'm going to add the stock. Just stir it, and now just allow it to cook out so that the raw flavor goes. And once it's been boiling for around a minute or two, you can add that thickening mixture that we made earlier. So just dissolve that in there. This is the easiest way to thicken most soups. So if you don't want to use corn flour, this will give you a much tastier soup. So if you have any leftover butter and flour, you can just melt it with some of the liquid and put it right back in. Okay, season it with salt, and you can use a generous amount, maybe a teaspoon or so of sugar. The original recipe calls for red currant jelly, but I don't know where to get that, so sugar it is. And last, I'm going to finish it off with the almond milk. Some lime juice, and yes, we're done. So you can see that we have a nice velvety soup. And you can just finish that off with the fried onions. And that's it, we're done. So this is pretty close to the original recipe. Of course, it doesn't have red currant jelly, but then you can use lime and sugar to make up for the acidity and sweetness. Yes, now for the easy way. You need 2 cups of water, around 400 ml should do. And to this, I'm going to just take 1 packet of our Weeks & Company Mulligatawny soup mix. 1 sachet serves 2 people. And additionally, you don't have to worry about preservatives because you don't use any added preservatives. It's also vegetarian. And this particular soup, at least our recipe, doesn't have onion or garlic. So if that is your dietary preference, then this is something that will be straight up your street. Ensure that the powder is dissolved in the liquid before you turn on your gas or induction. And just wait for it to thicken. Now you could make this in a microwave, you could make this in a kettle. So it's really very easy. Just mix it up to make sure that it's thickening evenly. And then I'm going to finish it off with a tablespoon or 2 of cream. If you don't have cream, you could just use milk and maybe a little less water in the beginning. And to finish it, a dash of lime juice. That's it, we're done. It's nice if you serve it with a tablespoon of rice. You can just use leftover rice if you have. And pour the soup right on top. Some more cream. You could skip this if you want. And that's it. Your mulligatawny is done in 2 minutes?